this is my list, as Perk would say, not everybody else's list. And on my list, I reserve the right to be fluid as we're making the list.
Yep.
Going to sleep, I was like, okay, the Valkyries, I'll keep them at 2. But I woke up today and I'm like, Okay, WNBA fans, it is getting real. The playoffs are getting closer. The contenders are separating themselves. And some teams are as hot as they can be at the perfect time. So forget about what we thought we knew. It's time for my WNBA Power Rankings, the latest and greatest edition. Who's rising, who's falling, and most importantly, who do I trust when it is ring season? This is Chiney Today, the heartbeat of hoops. Let's go to work. And there's no better mind to break down the WNBA and just all hoops than my brother from another mother, Jason Joseph, who everyone knows we call J-Joe. J-Joe, first of all, great shirt. I like it. I like the colors. You're looking good.
I appreciate it, homie. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So for those who don't know, we are on our siesta period, at least the talent and a lot of the members that are day-to-day exclusively on NBA Today. That means that, college football is rising. We don't have any TV windows until about September 8th or so. But for the brains at ESPN, there are no days off. J-Joe's reporting live from our new home. So we had our last show at what we called the LAPC, which was our studio and home base for work, very close to right across the street from crypto.com. Now we move over to Hollywood Park. Tell me, how do you like the building, the new digs?
The new digs are really dope. It's over here in Inglewood, and it is an expansive building. The technology is really dope. The people have been really nice, and I can't wait for us to actually get back to it with our rhythm of shows, but it's been really dope so far.
I can't wait till we get our studio, like our studio, because I know we're going to use some of the existing studios, but right now, over the next maybe 9 or so months, we have a baby. Our baby is getting built. Our new NBA studio, I cannot wait. For me, my area that I am very excited for is the big board, because JJ, I have to be the person that goes to the big board the most, right? Out of anybody.
100%. Like the way that we work on the breakdowns, it is such a collaborative effort, and you do an amazing job of explaining what you see in the game, and it's on us to make sure that we have the numbers to back up what you see.
Okay, this has me wanting to go into story time. We'll save it for the end of the show. I want you to describe to all of the people that tune into Chiney Today what it's like to work with me as we have a breakdown, because that's a dance. Javi, who works with us, I call it like, let's dance. It's a tango where all the minds come together just for that one piece of TV. But we have some work to do first. The WNBA Power Rankings, my latest and greatest, but we know it's a team effort, so it's both of ours. At number 1, the 1 spot in the Power Rankings, who does it belong to? This is a layup.
It is a layup because it has been the team that has been at the top of the standings all season long, the Minnesota Lynx. They are 1 game away from clinching the top overall seed in WNBA playoffs, so it is them at the top of the Power Rankings.
Wow. And at the time we're recording, yes, they're 1 game away, and they gonna get it.
They just need
They gonna get it. And it's wild because currently they are 31-7. Anytime you see single digits in the loss column, you know you flexed. You know you snapped on a season. Like you said, they have a 5-game lead on that 1 seed. They've won 6 or so in a row. And, it's just phenomenal to see how seamlessly this team has been operating and clicking on all cylinders. Napheesa Collier, they've been 9-1 since she returned. 9-1 with her. They've upped about like 3 or so points per game. They've upped assists. Even their 3-point shooting with Napheesa Collier has gone up from 38% to 42%. So, as we like to say, the rich get richer. Okay, I know we've said this a couple of times, but there are 2 ways that teams have to be great in order to win a championship, from my observable point of view. 1, you have to be physically dominant, meaning you have to have great players that can go after it. You have the Rookie of the Year and Olivia Miles at the point, an all-star. You have Courtney playing her natural position, doing her thing in all-star as well. You have K-Mac, who is playing like an all-star ever since all-star break, just shooting the ish out of the ball. You have Natasha Howard, who is finishing at a great clip. And then,
Also
of
an
course, you
all-star.
bring also an all-star. How did I forget? My bad, Tosh. And then you have Napheesa Collier back, which is amazing. But like on the floor, I think they're one of the, and you can sort of attest to it when we were talking about a week or so ago, they're the only team that's like top 2 or 3 in offensive and defensive categories rating. And so they play both sides of the ball on top of having the all-time winningest coach, which I don't like that word winningest, but we use it. The coach who has the most wins in WNBA history. That's one side, like the physical aspect. To me, what makes a championship team, JJo, is the mental aspect. How pain can be one of the greatest motivators. The heartbreak of 2 years ago, losing to the New York Liberty down the wire. Down the wire, it came down to a controversial sequence of events that led to OT where they lost the championship. And then last year, where they were motivated again, there was like rumblings for fee for MVP. And then that tough injury happens that derails their postseason. So the past 2 years, they've had that heartbreak, which was ingrained within them to motivate them. So I see it as a double whammy, which is why we see a 31-7 record, because not only are they like so good and talented from multiple points of view, but they also have the requisite motivation that will drive them to new heights in the postseason.
100%. They could have easily just taken a rest on their laurels in the regular season. This is their third straight season with 30 or more wins. And when you put that into perspective, WNBA now is playing 44 games, and next year it'll be 50. That is an elite win percentage over and over and over, and they're not getting tired of the process, despite having made it all the way to the finals and, to your point, had that heartbreak. They could have easily just said, we know what it takes to get there. We're going to coast through the regular season a little bit. And they decided not to. I think having Olivia Miles come in with some of that, fresh spirit and new attitude definitely helps. But they also dealt with some injuries where Fee was out for a majority of the beginning of the season. And she's come back and been able to fit in seamlessly, and that's why they've been able to be so great this year.
This is why I love working with you, because I always learn something new. I did not know it was 3 straight 30-plus win seasons. They know what they're doing. It's a machine. We all know at number 1, it's the Minnesota Lynx. Let's move on to number 2. Do we agree upon the Golden State Valkyries being at 2? Because we see a couple teams.
One that was interesting. I knew number 2 was going to be interesting.
So we're in the dog days of the season where teams are just trying to refine their game to make this postseason push. Some teams that we expect to win are taking losses. Some teams that, have taken losses are surging now at this point of the year. I have the Golden State Valkyries at 2, only because, honestly, I don't even, the defense to me is impressive. And they've had some rough, they've had a couple of losses where people say, where is the offense? You need the offense. We need, in those big matchups, strong contributions. And they are holding on for dear life for that 2 seed. They've lost a couple in a row. I don't want to bail on what we have seen all year long versus, top and dominant teams. But after 1, we can start playing some games with the power rankings. Do you agree that the Valkyries are still there?
So I knew number 2 was going to be interesting, right? Because I think you're right. The Lynx are head and shoulders above everybody in this regular season. That being said, I think 2 through 5 in the power rankings are they're fluid. They're fluid.
Stephen A.
Fluid. Exactly. So I think for me, I don't mind the Valkyries being at number 2. I personally would have had them a little lower on the power rankings. I think the team that is directly behind them in the standings, in the Las Vegas Aces, probably would be the number 2 in the power rankings with how they've played of late. And the thing I just can't shake with Golden State, despite their defense being so elite, and it is the best defense in the WNBA, and it is almost every metric that you can think of. The thing that I keep coming back to is that they have not won a single game this year when they have allowed 90 or more points. And that is a number in today's WNBA where you're like, oh, this is the highest scoring season in league history. 90 points feels like the norm. And that's where I'm like, do they have enough offense to get over that hump?
This is my list, as Perk would say, not everybody else's list. And on my list, I reserve the right to be fluid as we're making the list.
Yep.
And so, you know what's kind of funny, and this is how crazy the WNBA is. Going to sleep, I was like, okay, the Valkyries, I'll keep them at 2. But I woke up today and I'm like, I agree. I think we're going to rotate and put the Las Vegas Aces at 2. Now, the only thing that gives me cause for pause with the Aces is the fact that NaLyssa Smith, we don't know her injury status. She has been ascending. She's in the conversation for most improved player with a number of other great players, but she has been so important in making sure that Asia can cook and can eat, because defenses have to respect her, and she plays passionate. She plays with a force. And so that has helped Asia. Now, if NaLyssa has to miss some time due to injury, that makes the Aces a little bit more vulnerable than we expected. So officially, this is why you got to watch our show, okay? Because we change things on the fly. As you were talking, I was like, you know what? Today's a new day. So we're going to have the Las Vegas Aces at 2. Are you comfortable with the Valkyries at 3?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the Valkyries at 3 for all the reasons we detail. I think it's very close between those two teams. The thing I would lean towards in Vegas's favor, they won the season series in a sweep, and they were pretty effective the entire way through against Golden State.
And speaking of the entire way through, they have a pretty favorable schedule to down the stretch. I think they have the Toronto Tempo, they have the Storm, they have the Sparks, they have the Mercury. So they have a pretty favorable schedule for them to hopefully manage despite what their personnel looks like. So again, Minnesota Lynx, Las Vegas Aces, then the Golden State Valkyries. And now we're moving on to 4. And at 4, now this is where I'm like, do I need to make another change? Let's go between, because the Atlanta Dream and the Indiana Fever. Mm-hmm. Both teams are surging.
Yes.
Both teams have players that are performing at a very, very high level. Mm-hmm. I probably would give. Ooh, this is tough. I'm gonna put it on you. Who do you give the edge to?
Ooh, okay. You hit the Uno reverse card. I didn't expect that one to come my way. Hey, look, sometimes the double team comes around and you pitch the rock, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I got you.
It's a tandem.
It is a tandem.
I would right now probably go with the Atlanta Dream at 4. They've come off a really big week for them. It's ironic that their last loss came to the Indiana Fever, but since then they've gone on the road and they've been able to have wins in Las Vegas, in Los Angeles, and again on the road in Phoenix. So those 3 straight games of consistent play are really standing out. And this is where I have to, tip my cap to Angel Reese in the week that she just had. She's coming off of a career high in scoring with 31 points. She also had 14 rebounds. We know what she does on the glass, but defensively, she's been the engine for Atlanta, and that is a top-tier defense as well. 3 straight games with 20 points and 10 rebounds for her. So the offense is catching up in a way that has been very consistent. 67% from the field during these last 3 games. So she's been efficient and effective and making an impact that way. So I would lean towards Atlanta here, particularly because Indy is coming off of a really nice win over Chicago, but they had a couple of losses that I think in the middle of last week that were interesting. The first was to the Dallas Wings, a team who we'll get to in a little bit. And the other was to the New York Liberty, where they had a lot of things working for them. Kelsey Mitchell is your favorite player's favorite player. She is routinely named as like the toughest player in the league to guard amongst perimeter players. And she's shown it with her 20-point streak. Aaliyah Boston has been incredible with her leap from the 3-point line. She's averaging career highs across the board. And we know what Caitlin Clark is able to do. She's just coming off of another 35-point, 10-assist game against Chicago with 8 threes. So she's improved a ton, and she's been able to help foster that historic offense that the Fever have. But the questions I have about Indy will come in the postseason defensively. Can they get enough stops? And that's where I think it kind of showed up in this past week of games.
Okay, you highlighted a lot of great things. You mentioned Angel Reese's career high. She also, prior to that, because I was there in the arena for her perfect game, 9 for 9 from the field on the Sparks. But, okay, for some reason, maybe it's the head-to-head that matters to me. I give the edge to the Indiana Fever just because their firepower and maybe the recency of the matchup to me showed what they're capable of doing on top of last year. Maybe I still have some of those PTSD of without Caitlin, this was a team that went into your trap and took over your trap. And I do think that's part of why Atlanta's playing really well, because they know that this is a team that they want to beat. But right now, what we're witnessing from Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell is unbelievable. That 35-point double-double, more than the rest of the league for Caitlin Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell, 23 straight games of 20 points. I'm still laughing about the Toronto matchup where we didn't know that there was no AC in the building. Kelsey overheated after having 29 points in 3 quarters. So like this, there's something about this Fever offense that makes me want to make them the exception. I want to summon our producers because I want them to serve as tiebreak here. So let's see if they can pop on screen. We're having a little fun today. They're probably like, what is Shanae doing? Here comes Brandon. Here comes Devon. So at 4, I've got the Indiana Fever. At 5, J-Jo has the Atlanta Dream, even though he was higher on them. Brandon, where do you stand? I'm 4 and 5.
I am afraid of the Fever and anything that they can do because of that backcourt. So having them at 4 feels better for me.
Okay, Devon, I know he never likes to be on camera, but we are bringing him on. Devon, we're going to bully you on camera. Where you at? You can't just do the voice. There he goes.
I was the voice of God.
Can't be the voice of God today. Just with right now and how they're playing, I would have to say that the Fever are a 4 for me, and then the fifth team would be the Dream. It's a tough choice, but it's hard to argue what the Fever are doing offensively. I love offense at the end of the day, so yeah.
Me too. Okay, back to your cute little producer corners. You stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So we've got officially the Minnesota Lynx, the Las Vegas Aces, the Golden State Valkyries, the Indiana Fever, and then the Atlanta Dream in our current almost end of season, about 5-6 games left, power rankings. That rounds out our top 5. All right, let's move now to the next batch, the next 5. Okay, at 6, I have the New York Liberty, and they got a big boost because Leonie Fibich is back. And my goodness, does she make a difference?
Ooh, does she
make a difference? What have you admired about that resilience? Like the group stayed afloat long enough to be able to get Leo back. I didn't realize, because Satu was tough getting the news that she's out indefinitely, but the fact that you have another positional player that can step in and also be that productive and understand New York, that's got to be a breath of fresh air for the New York Liberty.
Absolutely. To your point, Phoebus missed double-digit games. She hadn't played since July 3rd. And for her to come back with 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, including the defense that she played on Caitlin Clark in that matchup, was the thing that kind of took them over the top in that game. And when you have somebody as impactful as Leonie Phoebus, who is 6'4", and can size up or size down defensively, that just opens up a lot for head coach Chris DeMarco, especially with the year that they've had. To your point, Satu's been out, and now we're getting the news that she's going to be out indefinitely. They've had lots of lineup turnover. They've had mishmash issues with their starting 5, but the consistency that we've seen from their frontline players, Breanna Stewart, Jonquel Jones, and their ability to continue to elevate and allow for
and my favorite, Hanshu.
Hanshu, yeah, she is shooting the ball incredibly.
Tallest player in the WNBA, 6'11", right?
6'11", shooting the 3, being an interior presence offensively and defensively. So you're right, the front court has been incredibly impactful for them as they've gone through this journey throughout the season, and they're trying to figure it all out. Sabrina missed some time at the beginning of the year. It took her a while to catch up. Now she's starting to get her rhythm and her legs together. Maureen Johannes and Pauline Astier, or as our as our man Demetrius, one of the producers would say, Nastier. She just plays with that edge, and they've been able to kind of start to figure some things out. So I do agree with the Liberty being here, and I think they are the team that I'm circling that's poised in the second four right now, who could potentially move up into that top four before the season ends.
One thing we know is that no matter what the record is, that's the team that you don't want to see in the postseason. Like, we're in the 6, we're in the 7, we're in the 8. I don't want to have them in the first round. I don't want the New York Liberty. I don't want Stewie. I don't want JJ. I don't want any of those problems. And you mentioned Sabrina improving as the year goes on. On the season, she's averaging 16 points a game. But in the last 13 games, near 20, 5.5 assists, 5 rebounds. And she's always hovered around like 35% from 3. But, this is a team that has been 10-3 in their last 13 games. So finally, maybe there's hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel for them to sort of make a late season push. Now we got to have a little fun. We got to step into the club. Because in the club,
we go to the club.
We all fan. We go into the club. It's up. Lights are on, but it don't matter. It don't matter. Like we partying. The Washington Mystics are partying. Did you see Georgia Amore's post? We did it. We did it. We did it, Joe. The young women,
ladies,
the young ladies of the District of Columbia, of the DMV representing.
Cooking everything on high.
They have made the playoffs.
Yes.
And it's so funny. It's like, y'all didn't plan for us to be here, but we here. We here. The Washington Mystics, are 10-3 in their last 13 games. Their offense has been cooking. It has been amazing. They've gone up to near 90 points per game, shooting 47% from the field, 35 as a unit from 3. Sonia, Citron, Kiki, Iriafen are doing their thing. But I was asked on the Game Recognized Game podcast that I joined recently. Go check it out with Miles Turner, such a sweetheart, and Brianna Stewart.
Yep. I
was asked who was the most underrated player in the WNBA. And we also were talking about that our last show, making our list. And they're like, oh, you can't say all-stars, this or that. I said, you know what? Shakira Austin. Right now.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
She's one of those players that you never know what she's going to do. Is she going to dribble across the court, take a transition? Is she going to hit you with a 3? Is she going to hit that pick and pop in one stride, get to the basket? She has boundless athleticism, and the skill is just flowing upward and upward. It's all connecting. And so watching Shakira Austin, especially the second half of the season, she has been going crazy, J-Joe.
Oh, my goodness. They call her Big Red in DMV, and she has been incredible. I think for me, watching Shakira, it's not just the athleticism. It's not just the skill. It's the level of force that she plays with. On her drives, you're going to feel her. When she has her back to the basket, you're going to feel her. Defensively, you're going to feel her, and she has taken her game to another level. She's always had this combination of size and skill, and it's been a thing of like, can she unlock her full potential? She's had some injury
Can she stay healthy?
issues. Yeah, she's had some injury issues in the past, and now that she's gotten beyond those, she's been an awesome player for the Mystics. The player that they envisioned when they made the draft trade. People forget this. The Mystics had the number 1 pick, traded it to the Atlanta Dream for that pick that became Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard is the awesome all-star for the Dream, and she's a multi-time all-star. Shakira hasn't made an all-star team yet, but the leaps and bounds that Shakira has made in her game this season alone, like you said, she's doing it on the face-up. She's doing it on the drive. She's sprinkling in the 3. And defensively, I think this is a year where you can look at it and say, like, okay, she should be on an all-defense team because of what she's been able to do to help anchor that defense. She also should garner some attention for most improved player. So to me, the Mystics being at this spot makes perfect sense, and Shakira Austin has been the fulcrum of that. We know that Kiki's an all-star. We know that Sony's an all-star. But the fact that Shakira has been able to kind of take them over the edge has been a joy to watch, because she's in that archetype of player that I personally am a sucker for, a front court player who has a lot of versatility, can kind of do it all with their back to the basket, facing, driving, dishing, and then defensively being a hub. I'm not going to hold you. That sounds a little bit like you back in your day.
That's hilarious because I thought you were going to say Giannis Antetokounmpo. This man right here is a Miami Heat fan. And so I was like, he likes a guy that can wiggle to the basket, that plays with force, that can play back to the basket too. I was like,
we got two of them. So, but this is a W pod. So we going to keep it on this side. We'll get to them.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for our next show. Nice little tease right there. Congratulations to the Mystics. I saw something on the internet about how because like Chicago's out of the playoffs and the Mystics are in or something like that, that they get another pick or something like that.
They do have the draft rights to swap with Chicago, and Chicago is eliminated from playoffs, so they will get a lottery pick. The Mystics are set up very well for now and the future, and they will not always be cooking on high.
You know what it's giving? It's giving Sam Presti levels of OKC draft hoarding in the best ways possible. Congratulations, Washington Mystics. All right, rounding out our power rankings for those in the playoffs as they stand, if we were just guesstimating. The Dallas Wings at 8. Man, I'm glad they got a couple dubs. I'm glad that they've remembered who they were. Jess Shepard with the 30-piece, Paige doing Paige things, because we got the tough news that AZ Fudd is out for the rest of the season. In the last 13 games, they've had some tough losses to the Liberty, the Dream, the Lynx, the Fever, the Valkyries twice, and the Mystics twice. The good news is that they finally got back in the win column, but I can see how frustrating it was. I mentioned the body language in the post-game press conferences because this was a team that was ascending like, oh, shoot, we about to do something this year. And then they got a little bit of basketball bad luck. But regardless, if you said that you're a team that was tied for last in record last year, and this year you're in the playoffs, at the beginning of the year, people be like, oh, all right, that's not so bad. So, that's how the league goes. You have to take the wins with the losses, but the Dallas Wings, at least they are fighting back, JJ.
The ebbs and flows of a season, they were really hot to start. They were in the top 4. And like you said, they've hit a recent rough patch, and the competition has kind of ratcheted up on them. But they are, a hop and a skip away from clinching that last playoff spot. So Dallas this year is a check success for them. You hate to see that AZ Fudd is going to be done for the rest of the season, and, you wish her a speedy recovery. But Paige has been an all-star. She's played at an all-W caliber. Jess Shepard is another candidate for most improved player. She was the first-time all-star starter this year. So they've had more positives than they've had negatives this year.
Yes.
But their start to the season can kind of mar just exactly how they feel about themselves right now. But the beauty of it is once they, get the chance to actually clinch a playoff spot, now you just roll the ball out and see how it goes from there.
All right, that rounds out our top 8, which in the WNBA playoffs would be the teams that would make it at this point. Let's rapid fire through the rest of the teams in our power rankings. All right, at 9, the Portland Fire. They were only projected to win 11 games their debut season. They have 15 wins, so not so bad, J-Joe.
Kudos to them. You do not want to see them in clutch time.
Fair, and on to the next. The Chicago Sky, they've had some big moments. I think that the brightest spot for them is Sydney Taylor, going from undrafted rookie to now. I mean, I think as a starter, she's averaging like 18 a game, which is unbelievable. Her game winner to beat the Valkyries was so cool. The Chicago Sky, at least they got Sydney, because I think Sydney helped rebrand them.
100%. Sydney being an undrafted rookie who's going to be on an all-rookie team, definitely big nod to her. Camilla's progressed, and they're building for the future, so their vibes are on the way up.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of positive vibes, Nneka announced that she is retired. I don't know if we talked about it. The LA Sparks are at my number 11. You can go ahead and do your thing. I don't know if we ever actually chatted about it, but I told you the news a little bit.
Yeah, you did. You gave me the heads up. Want to salute Nneka for having an amazing career, everything that she's meant to the WNBA, and not just on the court. And I'll get back to that, but off the court in her perseverance in all the different leadership roles that she's had with the WNBPA and helping get this transformative CBA together and being at the forefront of the change that has come for the league. And she's been in that spot for a decade now. And I think on one of your recent episodes, you said that she now gets the chance to rest if she so chooses, and she deserves that. And I don't want anybody to ever forget the impact that she has made in her leadership on this league. And then we get back on the court. We're talking about an MVP. We're talking about an all defense, an all WNBA caliber player who's still playing at an elite level. And I think going out on a high note with your performance is one of the things that you can only ask for in sport. And Nneka definitely has done that and is doing that with grace and class like she always does.
Oh, so sweet. So sweet. We appreciate you. That's why you're the brother we never had, okay? Rounding out our list, the Phoenix Mercury, the Toronto Tempo, the Connecticut Sun, and lastly, the Seattle Storm. That was fun. That is our latest power rankings. Now, J-Jo, we have a plot twist because our power rankings, maybe a team will get a quick little boost because there is news involving one DeWanna Bonner. The Phoenix Mercury and six-time All-Star DeWanna Bonner have agreed on a buyout to her contract. This move sends Bonner to the waiver wire, and she would become an unrestricted free agent if she is not picked up. In her 17th season, Bonner would then be clear to sign with any team. And I believe the intention is for her to be able to take one more swing at a championship. This is huge because there are teams that want to get a little bit of a boost. And DeWanna Bonner, obviously in year 17, and the Phoenix Mercury, first of all, shout out to y'all being like, you know what? It's okay. Like, go be great. Like, make the most. I love it when you can see legends, get respected on their way out. And in some ways, this is them saying, like, go pursue a winning opportunity. Now, this is a head start for somebody else. There are a couple teams that could use a little bit of a boost to try to get up to where the Minnesota Lynx are feeling right now. What did you take away from seeing this news hit your timeline?
It definitely surprised me. To your point, the buyout market in WNBA is not one that is very robust season after season. So it was unique to kind of see this, but there was a line in the press release that jumped out to me and saying how DeWanna could potentially get a chance to go after a championship in what could be her final postseason. So that stuck out to me a good bit because I think that will kind of inform us in terms of like what team she is looking at. And just by looking at her numbers this season, she's gotten better every month this season. She started May averaging 8 points. She bumped it up to just under 10 in June, 11 in July, and now in August, 14 points per game. So she's going in the right direction. So this could definitely swing some things for the stretch run of the WNBA season.
I also like the phrase swing some things. I'm mad that I don't say that because that sounds like something I would say vernacular, I would say. And in the quote, it says that DeWanna has been an important part of our team and brought tremendous leadership, experience, and competitiveness to the Mercury because of the relationship we have with DeWanna, which is basically saying, hey, we want you to be great and to, if this is your end season, end on a higher note. Quote, we worked out a buyout agreement that gives her the opportunity, as you mentioned, to chase a title in what could be her final postseason. Fascinating. Now, immediately, what teams come to mind? Because I'm thinking of maybe a Golden State Valkyries team that already has the defense on lock, but they need more potent offensive weapons. They already have a number of rangy, positionless players. Maybe it's the Golden State Valkyries. Do the Dallas Wings take a look now that AZ Fudd is out for the rest of the season? Who else do you think could potentially be like, oh, DeWanna can help make the case for us to be more competitive than we even thought at this point?
I like those call-outs, to be honest. The Dallas fit is one that is interesting. I think their front court is starting to solidify itself. Alana Smith has had an up and down season, but she's starting to figure it out. Awak Kuier had a 7-block game recently.
Oh my
Jess Shepard
goodness.
is an all-star. So I think they're in a solid position, and adding like some veteran presence would be nice. Golden State, to your point, could use an offensive boost. But the team I just keep coming back to, and I think there are two teams in particular. One is on the East Coast in the New York Liberty. They have been dealing with the injury to Satu Sabali, and she's been out indefinitely. And we know what they hearken themselves of being. They want to be a championship contender. They want to get back to the finals, and DeWanna feels like she can come in and fit in really seamlessly. And another one that
Satu with the size and the shooting. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, kind of like a merging of a similar skill set there. And the other team that kind of popped up as we're kind of awaiting some news is the Las Vegas Aces. Where,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Napheesa Smith recently went down. We don't know what the extent is. And obviously they played against DeWanna in the finals last year, and she had a solid performance. So Coach Becky Hammond, Nikki Fargas, and the Brain Trust of Vegas could potentially do some digging and seeing what is DeWanna's level of interest in popping into Vegas and kind of fitting into their rotation, depending on what happens with Napheesa Smith's injury.
Completely agree. Vegas was the other team that was on my mind because Napheesa, again, was able to stretch the floor. The only caveat there is Napheesa is a strong post defender, meaning she's physical. She's got like a thicker body where she can sort of put a body on other bigs, dynamic bigs that you'll need to defend in the WNBA, from a Brianna Stewart to a Napheesa Collier. You think of Aaliyah Boston. Those battles with Asia have been intense. And so maybe defensively it's a little bit more difficult, but still someone's got to guard her. So, like, you know how sometimes you do the whole, well, where I lack in defense, I make up for more than in offense. So now we got a certified three-point shooter with deep range that you have to bring your bigs now out to guard me. And so those are a couple of teams. Who did I mention? The Golden State Valkyries, the Dallas Wings, and the Las Vegas Aces that probably picked up the phone, baby. They're going to pick up the phone, baby, and try to make a push. DeWanna, we're happy for you. If this is your goal to go and compete, and shout out to the Phoenix Mercury for making it possible. Man, it feels like, ooh, that might be a little cheat code for one of these teams trying to win a championship, J-Joe.
Absolutely. Like, she definitely could swing some things depending on where she ends up. She's, like I said, she's been playing the best ball of her season at this point in time, and she's just getting better as the season has gone on. So I think there's definitely a lot left in the tank for DeWanna, and she could certainly help out a contender down the stretch.
Officially, the name of the new segment, Swing Some Things. Swing Some Things. Thank you, J-Joe.
We'll go ahead and swing the rock one time.
All right, that's it for our power rankings. And of course, there was a little bit of a plot twist. Thank you so much for watching Chiney today. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review, and show some love. Drop some love in the comments. We appreciate all the love that you give us each and every show. Again, this is Chiney Today, the heartbeat of hoops, and we will see you next time.